Welcome back, everybody, to our Sequester podcast. We missed last week, but we are back with the finale. Did you want to talk a little bit about last week's episode? It was my least favorite episode. It was also a short episode. It was a foregone conclusion episode.
Foregone in what way?
It was kind of obvious that it was going to be Moon and Jacob.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you kind of were seeking that poetic justice of the two of them going head to head, then maybe it was a good episode for you. But yeah, I agree. We all kind of saw it coming, so.
Yes, Muna went last week. So where should we start with this finale? Where would you like to start with this finale?
My inclination is always to drag good old Natalie, There's a lot to dissect there, but I don't know. It's up to you. Where should we start, I guess?
We can start with Natalie if you want.
I guess maybe let's start with the challenge and some of her responses of saying that, Josh is the least deserving, Spencer's the weakest, just some of the outrageous projections that she was doing.
Yeah, she was doing a lot of that. She was the one having to answer that question. She can't say herself.
I actually was unaware if that was a caveat, you couldn't vote yourself.
Well, I think you can, but it's not going to look good if you vote yourself.
You know what? I disagree with that. There was one point, I think it was her weakest player question, and she voted Spencer. And I was like, honestly, this is a great time to be like, I think on the surface, I'm the weakest player, which is why I'm the person that you should take to the Final Four. I would have used that as a moment to secure my Final Four.
I guess that's true.
At this point, you've played a pretty trash game, so you might as well just own it and live in your truth, and then get to the end, and then you can sell it.
Was there anybody else's answers that stood out?
I don't think anyone was quite as audacious as, Natalie literally trying to tell people that they played trash games and don't deserve to win.
There seemed to be a split on Josh in that, some players thought he played a great game, others thought he played a no kind of game, a bad game.
Was it Jacob that also?
Basically Jacob and Natalie. I thought he played a bad game, or they weren't sure what kind of game he played.
Yeah, I think that's just because they were never in his alliance, and they were never on his side of the game, so they weren't really sure what moves he was making. But Josh played a great game. I think he played a junior version of Billy's game, not quite, as masterful, but he still played a great game, and I don't think he was not deserving of the win. Up against Billy, yes, but up against almost anyone else, I think it could have been a fair split. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He kind of played for second, but I guess I don't want to talk about that quite yet. We're still talking about the final five. In the end, it was Josh who won and saved Billy, I guess, to show one last ounce of loyalty to Billy.
Yeah, that was interesting. I love how that was edited because they had Billy all emotional. They had their little, they did a flashback to their first 5 minutes in the house and just the history of their relationship. And then it's plot twist. Yeah, I'm gonna vote this bitch out, come final two. She's gone. This is just to make up for, when I ultimately have to get rid of her. I don't know that I would agree that he played for a sec. Oh, I guess we're not gonna get there. So never mind.
Yeah. It's just because of the way he did that in the end, which I will get to. But it was basically a vote between Josh, Natalie, or Spencer. It ended up going towards Jacob. Not Josh. Jacob, Natalie, or Spencer. It ended up going towards Jacob.
I was surprised that in the end, Jacob managed to have loyalty to Natalie. That just kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like that just really speaks to how bad her game was because, he and Muna have an actual relationship outside of the game. They, attempted to work together, and he didn't show her half the loyalty that he showed Natalie, but Natalie, who is more or less a GOAT, he puts it all on the line for her, and ultimately decided not to take her to a battle match, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I guess maybe he just wanted to prove himself against Spencer, which would have been the bigger move.
Yeah. And then, like, it's not like it would have mattered because, like, the challenge ended up being, memory based, and Natalie probably still would have done well at that anyways.
Yeah. I also wonder if kind of speaks to Jacob's downfall in this game is that he was loyal to Natalie. Like I understand why, because he probably thinks he could beat her in the end. But like also he's screwed over other people that his game kind of spiraled in the end.
I think he knew he was done. That the battle
He seemed
did,
tired.
yeah. I'm sure, lying and backstabbing, being kind of a shitty person in the game is exhausting. And having no conscience, of course. But yeah, I think that, the Spencer move, it was, he bet it all, and it was if it worked out, great. He would have literally 4 battle matches under his belt, and if it didn't, then oh well. But I think it was inevitable he wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah, he probably had the hardest or one of the hardest paths by that point. Any thoughts on the battle match between Spencer and Jacob?
I think if there's one thing that I'm starting to learn from just these competition shows is to just always pay attention to your competitions. Always, like, and I think I would actually be really good at these types of challenges because I'm just naturally good at like memorizing stuff like that, and I just pay attention. But you always just have to pay attention because I'm sure they were like, shit, like we just had this challenge, and they like probably weren't even paying attention to what was being said. And so I don't know. I like those types of challenges. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, I liked as well. Jacob messed up on the math one in the end about how many they actually smashed. Because altogether it would have been. Well, no, never mind. I'm doing bad math myself, so never mind. Well, in the end, Spencer wins, wins his 4th battle match of the game. That brings us to the final 4.
I got his physical prowess.
It paid off in trivia.
All right.
So how do you feel about the final 4 and how it played out?
Final 4, honestly, I mean, I think that turning on Billy was the clear choice. It was the obvious choice. I felt like they waited too late to even make a move on her because at that point, like, her power of persuasion is too good. She's got Natalie in the palm of her hand. So really, it was dumb of Josh to even take her to the final 4 because I don't think he realized how locked in she and Natalie were. But Billy played it beautifully. The only thing that I would change is that maybe to try and sway Josh, I would say, you know what? Fine, Josh. If you're going to vote against me, I'm going to drag you. Neither one of us are going to win. Like, I just don't understand why at no point she never made that threat.
Yeah, I think that's the go-to in that situation. But in this way, like Billy played it right
She did.
to just, try and persuade Natalie.
Yeah, and she could have possibly lost Josh's vote if she had have threatened to drag him. But I mean, to me, I'm like, nah, drag his ass. If I'm not winning, none of us are gonna win. I'm burning all this shit down. So
Yeah, Josh's move to me, it proved that he also knew he didn't play the best game, even though he was saying, "Oh, I deserve it," but he doesn't want to take Billy to the end, so he didn't play the best game. Well, whereas Billy was fine with bringing Josh to the end.
right, because Billy knew she played the best game of the 4. I don't know. I don't. Right. I mean, I don't think that's fair to say Josh didn't play the best game. No, but
He
he
didn't.
was trying to make a choice to maximize his game.
He was allegedly, but judging by the bitter jury, I don't know if that was actually the best move for Josh.
What do you mean?
Like if Spencer got as many votes as he did for playing a shitty ass game, shouldn't Josh got votes from the jury too against Billy?
Wait, so what are you saying? Are you saying that Josh should have just tried to go to the end with Billy?
Yes.
No.
Why
No.
not?
Spencer had a semi-decent case because he had a character arc. You know, he came in as a pretty annoying person,
Yeah, but I mean that's the edit too.
became even more annoying, and left a semi-decent person, right? Won 4 battle matches. Josh really doesn't have that type of character development other than the fact that he was a target the first night, won a battle match, and then stayed more or less under the radar, which is what I wanted from him. But he's going to have a hard time making a case like that against Billy and getting votes. I do think that they were bitter, though. Like, there were definitely some bitter jurors, but I don't think they would have been bitter enough to vote for Josh.
I mean, I'm just saying it's better than going out forth on a random will.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he wouldn't change his vote. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was fucked either way, right? Do you want to just go ahead and take your chances on a wheel of fortune, or do you want to get fucking humiliated in the final two
I
with
don't
Billy?
know if it's humiliation though. I want to take my chances in the final two. I want to make it to the final two.
Yeah, I think making it as far as you can is always worth something, but I do agree with that. Yeah, but I don't know that he would have done any better than Spencer's as it pertains to jury votes. I don't think that. I think he probably would have gotten the exact same votes that Spencer got, if anything, and still would have lost. So
Possibly. What were your thoughts on Natalie changing her mind from wanting Billy out at the beginning to, in the end, saving her, really?
the way that she started off the conversation, like literally, it's time to go, and she's like, "Josh, vote Billy with me, or else I'll drag you." Shut up, Natalie. Shut up. Like, that statement just nicely summarized her entire game, that she thinks that she's made moves, which is like you going in, putting your foot in your mouth, saying dumb shit, and then pussy popping your way out of it. That has literally been her entire game, yet she stands by the fact that she makes moves. What moves have you made that you've stuck with? And you did not
Yeah,
make the Luna move. Stop with that. You did not.
I
That was.
agree.
Go ahead. I'll let you go on.
Yeah, I was just going to agree that that did summarize her game, that she just can never make the right decisions. Really, that was really what it came down
She
to.
makes
At least
terrible.
decisions for her own game.
Honestly, I think that we knew that she had poor decision making skills in the game when she didn't try to get rid of Jacob sooner. Like, it's interesting to me that she ever thought Jacob was a good. Her best final three was her, Josh, and Spencer. I don't understand how she never realized that at any point. Josh realized that that was his best final three. Spencer realized it. So I don't understand why she was so hell bent on something.
I guess it was just the case that she really didn't have any allies, so she grasped onto the one she had in Jacob.
I think she's just a super emotional player. And I think that's ultimately why she was swayed by Billy. And it just made her look dumb because it's like you said something and then once again you backed out of it. And I think that her basically conceding to Billy proves the fact that she knows that she was the least deserving of the four and probably of many people in this game. And that was probably the only good move that she's made in the game, was recognizing that you don't deserve to make it to the final two. You do not. You don't. She didn't deserve to make it to the final four. Like, you should just be happy to be here. Be happy to have your screen time, like Brent said, and just leave it at that. And we'll see you on All Stars. I hope that these comments inspire some force in you. But no, this was not her season.
Well, I just want to say, as the season comes in, I don't really want to see anybody on All Stars except for Josh. I mean Billy, but Josh is the only one that I want to see on All Stars.
Billy played so beautifully. I don't even want to see her
I don't
tarnish.
either. I want her to graduate to a show like Survivor.
Yeah, it would be like watching Sandra again, even though Sandra is the queen and did, manage to do it twice. But the third time it was like, oh, it was a little sad. I don't want to see Billy play again.
Yeah, I don't either. I would only want to watch Josh.
I do want to see Natalie come back. And I've said that before. I want Natalie to watch how she's played this game. Hopefully, have some honesty with herself and realize that she played it like trash and then come back and do better.
Well, in the end, she would Josh dragged her because he said he would if she didn't change his vote. her vote.
Yeah. It's interesting though because he did that, right? Because during the game, Natalie said that Josh would be the most likely to back out of a drag, right? So do you think that he dragged Natalie solely to prove his point? Like, do you think that her saying that sealed her own fate?
I think it was a combination
Of what?
of her saying that, but also she didn't change, so why not drag her? Because she's also causing them to go to a random whale.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I still, maybe this is like the spitefulness in me. I still just feel like if I can't have it, you're not going to have it either. And I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't just take Billy.
No, because I don't think he had spite towards Billy. Why would he have spite towards Billy?
I guess like what I was saying earlier, where Billy's best case would have been, if you vote for me, I'm gonna drag you. And so I guess I just don't understand. I mean, which I love it, right? Like they've truly been loyal and been allies in the game, but I just kind of am surprised by the fact that neither one of them really turned on each other and said, I'm dragging you then. If I can't win it, you can't win it. Both
I mean, I think it was loyalty there. I don't think Josh wanted to vote out Billy just because, first, out of spite. It was just because he was afraid to go against her in the end, is what it came down to.
Yeah. I mean, I do respect it. I respect it. Clearly, I'm petty, so.
Apparently, that would have been a bad move by Josh. He would have been a huge villain. That brings us to this illogical ass jury, I guess. Who do you want to start with on the jury?
Might as well just go down the line that they appeared, the order that they appeared in.
I mean, I don't really have much to say about Jay West or Katie.
I mean, why do you think Katie ended up voting for Spencer? What the fuck?
Well, because I guess they had loyalty outside of the game from past mini games. That's what was explained in the first episode.
Okay, anyways. Next.
Rachel, I mean, she basically explained why she was going to be voting for Billy. Because Spencer's terrible ass social game earlier in this season.
Yep.
Thoughts on Shireen?
I called it. I literally said it while we were watching the episode. I was like, I bet you, I should have bet money. I bet you good money. Shireen's going to get up there and she's going to say, Billy, you already know you've got my vote. So tell the jury why you deserve their votes. I knew that she was going to do that because I know the type of petty that Shireen is, and I saw it coming. And I loved it. She did not disappoint.
It's also a great move as a juror if you're an ally to someone in the game to have them explain their game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember who was next. Brent's a logical ass.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in Brent. I felt like that definitely just had to do with some bitterness. I really didn't understand.
It made no sense.
Why Spencer was deserving of his vote. More so, I don't understand why he thinks that Billy was going to ever take Muna as her final two, and why he seems to think that Billy was just going to be fucking destroyed by Muna. Are you kidding me? That would have been a close call.
Should have been, yeah. And also, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are you voting? That didn't happen. So why is that your reason for voting? It makes no sense.
Voting on a scenario that like
literally didn't happen.
Yeah.
He just needed to say, I like Brent, so I'm going to vote. I mean, I like Spencer, so I'm going to vote for Spencer is basically what it came down to.
Yeah, basically. You're salty, and that's okay. You know, it is what it is.
Next, I believe, was Brendan, and I loved what he did as a juror, honestly. That was great.
That was great.
Because once again, it proved that Billy had confidence in her game, and that she did, and Spencer didn't have any because he put his hand up like twice, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little scared as where he was going with that, though, because he and Spencer were kind of close throughout the game, but then he was also kind of close with Billy. Spencer actually really played neutral most between the two of those. Like, he wasn't really on anyone's side. So I didn't know if at the end he was going to say, well, Billy, you're not getting my vote. And then he kind of just left it with, well, whatever it was, just take it to heart. And I just didn't know what to make of it, but I did like the idea.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it really showed how they felt about their own games.
Yeah. And I don't think Billie was like over confident or overly arrogant because she fucking earned it. She earned it. She earned her spot there. We've been saying this every week on this podcast.
For almost the whole season.
I think we called it, but day one, we said it's Billie's to win. We said it day one. Let the record show we were always rooting for you, Billie. Always.
Muna was fair in her handling of the jury.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say.
I mean,
I thought it was pretty obvious she's going to be voting for Billie.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect the fact that she like attempted to give Spencer, a shot to tell his story and all that shit, and I don't even think she was doing that, to give Spencer a chance with the jury. I think she was just kind of doing that for the sake of like the relationship that they'd built, like I guess whatever, complete their storyline, tie up those loose ends.
I skipped over that clown bitch Marcelo, to quote Tim Dillon. Oh my god, I honestly can't stand Marcelo.
I don't think the fucking producers of Sequester like Marcelo because they literally are like, I'm gonna be voting for Spencer. Cut. Like we didn't ask him why he was voting for Spencer. They were like, anyways, next.
Yeah, he's immature. He's 30 years old. He's pretty immature.
And the audacity of him to say that Spencer has matured in this game. Bitch, what have you done? What have you done, Marcelo? Other than wear fucking flip-flops. What have you done, sir?
Yeah, he's the kind of bitter juror I don't like. Because he can't even explain why he's bitter.
Because they hate to see a black woman win.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I have some statements to make about the actual vote count. Who was next? Oh, Jacob.
So funny to me because he's like the whole season, Billie, I love you. First of all, it irks the shit out of me when people just like throw the love word around. They're like, oh my god, first of all, I love you. Shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. You know damn well Billie deserved that win over Spencer. Stop.
Yeah, I don't even want to hear Jacob talk anymore. I'm tired of it. He thinks so highly of himself that he can't give credit to anything else, honestly. That's how I feel about him now.
And the fact that literally Spencer having 4 battle matches is more than what Natalie's giving him credit for, but it's less than anything Billie's done in this game.
And it's by far because, as Serene pointed out, he was voted out 4 fucking times.
Literally, exactly. That means that your social game was so trash. At least we'll give him a little bit of leeway on the 4th one because that was more just kind of like, who else are you gonna pick? But 3 times, people were actively trying to get rid of this man.
It's honestly why I have some problems with the battle match concept in general. Like I know Fan Guy likes it. We've talked about it before. He wants me to do it in a game where you get to pick who you go against in the end. But I don't know. It kind of the way it turned out this season, everybody voted out like won every battle match. So it kind of made some of the strategies going on before voting pointless.
Mm-hmm. Right. And like even when it's like, oh, what moves have you initiated? Like in Survivor, you make a move, you rally the numbers, and you see that person executed. And it's so funny because Jacob kept saying, like, Billie, I want you to outline what you've done. And it's like, well, bitch, I've tried to make these moves, but then you hoes keep coming back. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and another thing about his statement, it's because he plays such an aggressive game, and that's what killed him in the end. But Billie was honestly on another level when it came to strategy. Like the one thing I wish she would have brought up in jury, which I still think was like her, like a bold ass move, is that one round where she voted for herself. Like that is that's a boss move because it could backfire in so many ways.
I also just think it was funny how she knew. I think my move for her was when she, like Brent gave her like his last 2 minutes of that round to talk, and she still voted for Brent. And like there were no hard feelings. I mean, apparently there were because he fucking didn't vote for her in the end. So the one thing that was really annoying me about the jury was they kept wanting to divide Billy's social game from her strategic game. And I'm like, you dumb bitches. Her fucking strategy was to be social. Like, they're intertwined. You can't sit there and say, like, what strategic moves have you made without discussing the fact that she has consistently emotionally manipulated all of you. That is strategy. And like, it takes strategy to be a good social player. So I just like, I don't know what they wanted from her. It's like, you were either gonna respect her game and vote for her and give her fucking props, or you were gonna find a reason to be nitpicky.
Exactly. That's why they don't want to see anybody on the jury play again, because most of them A, proved they were bad players anyway, and B, that they didn't understand a good game.
Yeah.
Billy played the best game that could be played in Sequester.
Hands down.
Like,
You know what happens? You know what happens when you take Billy's game and you separate out the social aspect? You get Josh. And all of you will readily admit that Josh, like you said, was not as good as Billy. So it's like, you can't sit there and ask her to separate. Okay, but like, what did you do strategically? Like, her entire game plan was strategic. Yeah, I don't know. They hate to see it. They really do. They hate to just see a fucking black woman out here doing her thing. And she got them, all of them. Kill them all.
Last was Josh and Natalie. Any thoughts on their?
Fucking, I really do want to see Natalie come back, because I feel like she can be like a real force. But first of all, she's got to stop with this self-delusion, right? Like, you didn't do shit in this game. You did not initiate any moves. The moves that you initiated were just bad and never actually fell through or never went through. And second off, the fact that she started off her, like, you know, jury questioning with like giving kudos to herself and like thanking Jacob for believing in her. Shut up. This isn't about you. This isn't your moment. Like, we don't need this. Just you know, ask them the questions that you need to ask. Like, I'm just constantly surprised by like her level of like self-involvement and just like the grandeur, like delusions of grandeur, you know, like she really just thinks that she's like deserving of this and like feels kind of entitled to how far she made it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Oh, I have strong feelings about Natalie in this game.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. I just don't know if she has the personality to be a force in this game.
In what way?
She's just too emotional.
She's very emotional.
Well, in the end, Billy did get the win, but it was very much closer than it should have been. Let's run down the stats on Billy. She never got voted out. She never got chosen for a battle match. She got safety in like 3 different games. She was the killer. She got safety by Josh. There was that round when they had to talk to the jury, and she got safety that round.
Not even to mention like just like the challenges where like they show you like the challenges that kind of indicate how people feel about you. Like, she got her sand filled first. She was the only person that like didn't have all of her blocks smashed. And like, yet and still, she was managed to make it this far without being on anyone's radar up until the final 4, when they realized we should probably turn on this bitch.
If Billy was a male, she would have won this unanimously.
Speak on it.
And furthermore, like, we always talk about how women don't get respect in these games, but you bring in a black women, and I think that's also very big, because I mean, it's pretty telling that it's only one time on Survivor that they've voted for a black woman to win, and never on Big Brother. So,
yeah.
Well, I guess not counting Tamar on Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah. Well, anyways. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, I think it would be careless to pretend like outside biases don't infiltrate these games. And, you know, Spencer can come in, be an asshole, you know, go to 4 battle matches because he's an asshole, realize that he's an asshole, and that can be like a story arc and you know, a reason for applause because of his personal growth. And it's like, wow. Whereas on the other hand, Billy has been an amazing player, has emotionally manipulated all of you, and you're still trying to find a reason to say that she didn't earn her spot there, you know? And then don't even forget the fact that she's a gay Black woman. So
Yeah, I think their votes were pretty telling in how these games usually play out, and that if she was definitely a straight white male, if the roles were reversed, it would have been unanimous. That's for sure. Any final thoughts on this jury and the winning vote for Billy?
I mean, the person that deserved to win won. We've called it since the beginning. I always knew it was Billy's game to win. I'm glad she got her props. One thing that I really do like about these games, and props to, you and, other showrunners and the people who make Sequester, is like how much people get into these games. Like that scene when the four of them were at the table and Billy was in tears and Josh was in tears and Josh was like, I deserve to win, Billy. And I'm like, first of all, it's 2,500 on the line. 2,500. That's it, like it's just
those bragging rights are high.
Yeah, and like the fact that they're like, I want to be the first insert here to win in Sequester history. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not Survivor, but you can edit that out. But the point being, I do like the fact that people get so invested, and it makes the games fun, and it just I really enjoyed that part of the season.
I agree, and it's very, very rare that the all-around best player actually ever wins these games.
I know.
I wasn't saying that, but
you don't think I deserve to win my season?
Well, not the way the Final Four played out, no.
Any whoosies.
Well, any final thoughts on the episode or the season as a whole?
As a whole, good season. I'm excited for, round 2. They had some good people. I hope their budget gets even bigger, and, and they just, I hope the show grows. It's a good show. It's got some good concepts. It's not like Big Brother or Survivor. I think it's got a special niche, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
I agree. Well, that is all I have. Thank you for joining me for this Sequester podcast series. All right, well, I'll see everybody else on the billion other podcasts I do.